Hello, friends. Welcome to this Friday and the new era of the Montreal Canadiens. I am coming to you live from beautiful Sainte Therese, Quebec, almost Mirabel, really. I am playing golf on the road today. That's right, my friends. We are playing golf on the road, and we're taking our talents. We're taking our talents to Sainte Therese, Mirabel, Quebec. We're playing the Hillsdale Golf and Country Club this afternoon, tea time, in about 45 minutes or so. Here's the thing. I don't like warming up too much. I don't want to warm up and kind of leave it all in the bullpen, right? I tell my buddies this sometimes. They're pounding balls in the range, before we're set to tee off. I'm like, boys, don't leave it in the bullpen. Work on the short game, hit a couple of drives, hit a couple of irons that you're likely to hit on the first tee or your second shot, perhaps on the first fairway. And roll a couple of putts, roll a couple of chips, and off we go. We're not here to talk about golf, though. We're here to talk about the changing of the guard. A new era is underway with the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens captain, the 30th in the franchise's history, Shea Weber, was dealt yesterday afternoon to the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for Evgeny Dadonov, who played 78 games last season, got close to 50 points, and scored 20 goals. Why does this move make sense? Lots of people sending tweets, sending text messages to TSN 690 at 11690. Why did they make the move? Why did Vegas make the move? Why did the Montreal Canadiens move? And tell me why, Sean, this move makes sense. Okay, well, I'm here to maybe clear the air if there is any confusion the best way I can, as this is how I understand it. It's a fascinating move that I think took a lot of people by surprise, because I thought it was going to be Arizona. I even thought maybe the Buffalo Sabres would do something in terms of absorbing long-term injury reserve and relief by inheriting a contract like Shea Weber's. Don't think he's not going to play. I really don't believe for 1 second that Shea Weber's going to play. What's going to happen is, as soon as the season begins, Shea Weber goes on LTIR and his cap goes off the books. And by trading away Dadonov, what that means for Vegas is they get $5 million in cap relief. They take on Shea Weber's contract. The Montreal Canadiens get out from underneath the remaining 4 years. They get 1 year with the new guy. And then what's going to happen? The Montreal Canadiens, in my estimation, are not going to be competitive next season. So they're getting a guy that perhaps can help them on the power play. He's a healthy body. He's actually going to play hockey. He played 78 games for Vegas last year. Shea Weber is not going to play. And the Montreal Canadiens don't want to operate with $20 million in LTIR. It really handcuffs them. You want to call guys up, you get penalized. It costs more to call guys up because you've maximized the LTIR reserve. So it's very important that this team get out from underneath Shea Weber's contract. It's a complete changing of the guard. Vegas gets the cap relief. The Montreal Canadiens get an asset that can actually help them at the NHL level. And then what do you think is going to happen next? They're going to flip them. They're going to move them in the days, weeks, or a month leading up to NHL trade deadline. So at the end of this, I think it's a very shrewd, smart accounting move. And the cherry on top of all of this, what I loved about this, and I asked TSN Hockey Insider Darren Dreger this morning with Simon Salikas and yours truly, who initiated the conversation? Like, who got the ball rolling? Because, again, when you think about it, why wouldn't Vegas trade Dadonov to another? I'm probably screwing up this guy's name nonstop because Dreger said it one way, I was saying another. Now I'm all confused. Anyways, why didn't Vegas trade their guy to a team that was willing to give up a third or fourth round pick, like something of substance in return that Vegas can use? Because Shea Weber is not going to play. And it's my understanding that Vegas kicked tires, put the word out around the league that they were open to moving this particular player. But here's the example, right? So let's say, for example, you're the general manager of the Calgary Flames, the Edmonton Oilers, Nashville Predators, any competitive team in the Western Conference. And Vegas calls and says, listen, you want to take this guy off our hands? Frees up $5 million. You get him on 1 year on a rental deal. He's going to score some goals for you. He's going to play games for you. And if you're a general manager of any competitive team in the Western Conference, nah, I'm not doing you a favor, Vegas. You're a stacked team. Why would I do you a solid, give you the value of cap relief? I wouldn't do that to you. So Vegas can't get anybody to dance with them. What do? Who can we get? Gotcha. Ken Hughes, Shea Weber. What's the plan, guys? Everybody knows. Nick Kyprios knew this years ago. Shea Weber was going to retire. It goes to show you how valuable that Stanley Cup final run was last year. Never forget how the team rallied around Carey Price and Shea Weber and how valuable those guys meant to the Montreal Canadiens. It also makes me believe that Carey Price might be on LTIR again next year. That's why the Canadiens had to get out from Shea Weber's contract so they don't do what they did again this year like they did last year, right? So that's why Vegas picks up the phone, calls Ken Hughes, and listen, I've got a guy for you. Give me Shea Weber's contract. We've got the room. We'll put him on LTIR. We're going to give you our guy. You're going to get him on 1 year, and you're going to flip him at the deadline or the days before the deadline, right? Like, smart move, full stop, across the board. And at the end of this, Shea Weber was the 30th captain in the Montreal Canadiens franchise history. And, you know, when we look at back on the transaction on June 29th, when Marc Bergevin picked up the phone and made a deal with David Poile, look, I can't say for certain that the Montreal Canadiens get to the Stanley Cup final if PK Subban's still here with Montreal. I do know that PK went to Nashville and they had immediate success on a stacked team that was set up for a championship run, a deep championship run, right? And I think David Poile is such a smart guy because in Shea Weber, outside of his first season in Nashville, his first 4 years there, this guy never missed games, man. He never missed games, never missed more than 4 games in a season after his rookie season. And with all the minutes and all the miles on this guy's body, I think David Poile did a great job of predicting the future. I think he knew deep down, and his scouts and his hockey ops personnel, I think collectively, the Nashville front office knew that Shea Weber was being held together by duct tape, and it was only a matter of time, not if, but when Shea Weber and his body just break down. He plays heavy minutes, he's a heavy body, and he plays a hard physical game. It's hard to keep that up for an entire career. And then, of course, he comes to Montreal, and this guy was plagued by injuries, year after year after year, foot, knee, ankle, you name it. The guy was just breaking down. But he carried so much value to the Montreal Canadiens. And ultimately, I do find myself agreeing that, you know, Marc Bergevin identified, in his estimation, that the team needed a cultural change. He didn't like the way the leadership group had been built. And no one's going to argue that Shea Weber is the guy that's going to come in and fix this. I mean, everybody that looks at hockey, that knows hockey, respects Shea Weber for the player that he is and the character guy that he is. And it's why I think Nick Suzuki is the next guy. Nick Suzuki, since he was acquired in Vegas in the Pacioretty deal, has been watched and been I don't want to say mentored. I don't know the relationship between these guys, but Nick Suzuki's been with Shea Weber. They spent a lot of time together, man. Like, he's watched. I hope he's watched. I hope he's absorbed and has learned and has taken away some strong positives from Shea Weber. And, you know, I don't think for a second that Nick Suzuki is going to be bothered by the captaincy or that his point production is going to be bothered by this. There is a point in time where we have to stop thinking that pro athletes react and behave and think the way I do or you do. They don't. They are the upper echelon of what they do. They are the 1% of the 1% at the sport that they play. And these guys are winners. And I don't think they let negativity, like, I choose to believe that Nick Suzuki says, bring it on. Bring on the challenge. Let's go. I want to be the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. That's how I choose to think how Nick Suzuki has operated or wants to operate as the leader, the future leader of the Montreal Canadiens. So at the end of all of this, I'm glad the Montreal Canadiens made the deal. It got them to the Stanley Cup final. It got them 3 wins away from a 25th Stanley Cup. That's it for me. That is it. That is it for me. It's all about titles. It's all about championships. It's all about legacies. And Shea Weber with Carey Price and others were part of a group that brought the Montreal Canadiens the closest they had ever been since 1993 to winning a Stanley Cup. And that's why we're here. We're here to win titles, baby. We're not here to win President's trophies. We're not here to win hearts. We're here to win Stanley Cups. And just for that reason alone, it was a great deal. One I think needed to happen, and it worked. And now Shea Weber will sail off into the sunset, and the Montreal Canadiens have expedited the process of rebuilding and getting back up to a consistent level. I hope that clears the air. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll do my best to sort them out. But ultimately, to summarize quickly, shrewd, smart, hockey accounting move. What's our best bet tonight? I got one for you. It's a ball game coming up just past 2 o'clock. The Atlanta Braves at the Chicago Cubs this afternoon. I think it's a 2:20 first pitch. Here's the thing to know about this. It's a low total. I gave you another winner yesterday with the Philadelphia Phillies and Washington Nationals going over the posted total. That was our best bet. That was a winner. Just like I gave you Colorado to win game 1 in a game that went over 6. Those 2 bets cashed. Our U.S. Open picks are looking good with Matthew Fitzpatrick and Rory McIlroy. So our best bet this afternoon, over 8 runs. The Atlanta Braves have not lost in June. They are one of the best teams in Major League Baseball, if not the best, at hitting overs in their games. And the Chicago Cubs give up a lot of runs and play to a lot of overs as well. So let's bank the over 8 runs between Atlanta and the Chicago Cubs. K-Stop Gas Bar and Depener, proud sponsors of In the Car with Star. We all know the price of gas. Stop paying the taxes. Stop filling the pockets of corporate fat cats for all those big national brands. K-Stop Gas Bar, Depener, Highway 138 in Ganawage. Family owned and operated, has been for years and will be. So you can go support me by supporting my sponsors. Cheap gas, premium fuel at discount prices. K-Stop Gas Bar and Depener with the best snack, beverage, hot meal selection you'll find anywhere. Take my word for it. Go put them to the test. It's K-Stop Gas Bar, Highway 138 in Ganawage. I do like the Tampa Bay Lightning back into their series. I told you Andrei Vasilevsky, not great in game 1. He's going to bounce back big time. Book Tampa to win game 2 in a game that stays under.